Well, the world is watching on as the Russian invasion of Ukraine continues. However, the full picture from the ground isn't always the clearest. Freelance videographer turned humanitarian from Regina, Joshua Schnell, joins us live from Ukraine this morning with an update. Joshua, no, the last time we spoke to you, you were in Kyiv. You had to evacuate that same day. Where are you now, and are you okay?
Hello. Yeah, I'm quite fine. The evacuation process was not the most pleasant experience of my life, to say the least. But I made it to Lviv, which is in the western part of Ukraine, about 70 kilometers away from the Polish border.
And what have you heard, if anything, in regards of how long this is all expected to last?
Well, I have some predictions. Like, I'm around quite a bit of journalists that write for different newspapers in Canada and internationally. And they're all figuring that it's definitely the effects of what's happening here will trickle on for a long time, and very likely Ukraine will never be the same again. How far the exact conflict will go, how long it's going to go, what's going to happen, nobody can say for sure, but yeah, the predictions are it very likely could get worse before it gets better.
Humanitarian efforts back home in Regina, across Canada, even around the world, have flooded in to help people in Ukraine. And, either financial, food, or water, is any of that aid getting to you on the ground?
Yeah, so the unfortunate thing going on right now is that there's a big lack of humanitarian aid here on the ground. And so, unfortunately, what I found is there's been about $50 million in donations, but they didn't open a green corridor, which is essentially safe passage for these goods to get through. And so what I'm really hoping is that they open this soon. And so what I just recently researched before coming on here was that they did open it up. I apologize. Someone's knocking at my door right now, which is very strange because I personally got this Airbnb to do this live with you. I apologize.
It's okay. It's okay. Go on.
So yeah, basically they opened a green corridor. Stuff is starting to come in from Poland, and we have some stuff coming in from Romania as well. So I'm hearing a few people with different ways to move goods around, but it hasn't fully opened up, so a lot of the supply hasn't come. But I believe it's coming now, and that things are going to start getting better. But unfortunately, due to this lack of aid, there's a lot of red tape on these large organizations. So I'm just a guy who's been raising money with my friends, and we've been able to make quite an impact because I don't have to go through all this red tape. I don't have to go through all these safe passages to make all of this happen. I could just be here on the ground and make things happen. And very fortunately, from some donations from a lot of people in Saskatchewan and contributions from me and my family, we've been able to help, as of yesterday, just over 2,000 people.
Oh, that's great news. And Joshua, there have been videos posted to social media about stories of racial discrimination, particularly of those of African descent trying to get out of Ukraine. Have you encountered any of that or spoken to anyone who has had to deal with that at all?
Oh, that's a really difficult question for me to answer for you. And the reason for that is because I encountered it directly. So I raised some funds because I noticed there was a large humanitarian aid need near the border of Poland and Ukraine. So I went to that border with supplies, and I was led by a military officer. He actually grabbed me quite aggressively, and he pulled me over and pointed with a tear in his eye. He said, "You need to help them." I was led into a locked compound full of Indian, African and Middle Eastern people, and they were burning their clothes for warmth. And majority of them were dying of starvation. And I honestly believe that if I didn't come in there with the supplies that I did, if we didn't provide that support, that they would have died. It was one of the most horrific things I'd ever seen, seeing medical students, almost all of them are medical students here in Ukraine, nearing a point of death after walking 30 kilometers and being left outside for 3 to 5 days. Now, I have to say that problem, yes, that bothered me, but at this time, I think that I've been back and they've let most of them through. So yes, there's definitely some negative treatment and some segregation occurring.
Well, Joshua Schnell, freelance videographer, stay safe. Thank you so much for your updates. We're thinking about you and praying for you and the people of Ukraine.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you for having me on and bringing more awareness to the lack of humanitarian aid on the ground here, because that's ultimately my goal. Thank you.
More of Global